So here's the agenda, but first,
It's a small country.
I want to introduce the person that I'm going to put up for the vice chair of the party, not chair of the vice, but the second person, and that's Jon Kantrowitz. John has run for the House of Representatives twice in the 4th Congressional District. He's run against Chris Shays. 1984, I ran against Stuart McKinney. So it's not like we're just Democrats off the street. He's never done anything. So John's got a long record with the Democrat Party, 30 years in the Democrat Party.
Democratic Party.
Yeah. Democratic. I sound like Democratic Party. So John, there's a few housekeeping rules you wanted to propose for rules of order. Before we vote for the chair and the secretary, and then we get into the positions.
All right, John, thank you for that introduction. Just a little more background. When John announced that he was going to run, I was one of the first people to call him and offer my support. And when he dropped out, I considered running as well, just because I thought somebody had to do it to run against Lieberman. And then, of course, Ned came forward, and I was as happy as anybody that it wasn't going to be me and that it was going to be Ned. But we have a lot in common, and we both won for Congress, and we both feel very strongly about Joe Lieberman making a mockery of the Connecticut electoral process with this ridiculous Connecticut for Lieberman party. I mean, he didn't even have the intelligence to name it Lieberman for Connecticut, which would have made a lot more sense. John and I do disagree about one thing. John is very interested in the issues, and I'm very interested in making a mockery of this whole thing. But between the two of us, I think we're going to get a lot done. I also donated my truck and did an awful lot of driving for the KISS. And I thought that was a wonderful piece of political theater, and I think this is a perfect follow-up in terms of political theater. So I'm very happy to be part of it. I also was reluctant to leave the Democratic Party. I was a member of the Fairfield DTC for 30 years, including vice chair for 8, and obviously went for a lot of offices. So it was hard to leave, but I think this is going to be a lot more fun. I am concerned that we establish some framework so that a small group can't come in and take over our party. And it is our party. So I'd like to propose some rules. Number 1, officers are elected for a 1-year term. Elections will be held every January. The obvious purpose of that is we're going to be officers for a year. Number 2, changes to existing rules can only be made at the annual January meeting. So somebody can't come in, change the rules, and throw us out as officers. Number 3, meetings may be called only by the chair or vice chair. That gives us some more control. Number 4, new rules may be proposed at any duly called meeting, but cannot be acted upon until the next meeting. Number 5, all registered CFL members may vote at CFL meetings. That's to obviate the need for a 90-day waiting period, which is required by law, but only for primaries and caucuses. It's not required for just party meetings. And by the way, you should be aware, once you register for this, if you want to vote in the Democratic primary, you better change back within over 90 days before the primary. And number 6, all meetings shall be conducted according to Robert's Rules of Orders. So I'd like to make a motion that these rules be adopted.
Second.
Thank you.
Could we see a show of hands first of the people who have registered or are registering for Connecticut for Lieberman? I want to see how many voting members we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so did you say you were? Okay. So who's up? 1, 2. All right. These are our voting members then.
All those in favor?
All those in favor of the rules.
Aye.
Aye. 7-0.
So done.
All right. Now, I wish Mr. Korchin had stayed because I'd like to put it to a vote. I read the New York Times today. It said he claims he's the chair. I claimed I was the chair.
Well, I'd like to nominate John Orman as chair of the CFL.
Thank you.
For legal department.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second? Seconded. I would like to nominate Stuart Corchin.
I'll second.
Thank you. So it's been nominated Stuart Corchin and John Orman. Any other nominees for chair? If somebody else wants to do this, they can.
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo. That's unfair because Lorenzo would rule. All right, so far Stuart Corchin and John Orman have been nominated. Any other nominees? All right, the nominations are closed.
Well, I think since you're a candidate for the office,
You should
somebody
do it.
else should conduct the election.
That's right.
Let's be fair about this.
That's right.
Okay, all those in favor of Stuart Corchin?
Oh, you always have one.
All those in favor of John Orman? Okay, John Orman has declared to be elected as chairman of the Connecticut Lieberman Party
5 to
to
1.
serve for 1 year by a vote of 5 to 1.
Thank you. Talk with Secretary of State, and every 3 months they calculate who signed up. So I've asked them to send me, as the chair of Connecticut Lieberman, the number of people who've registered and how I can get a hold of our fellow party members. But right now we have about 5 or 6 people. Mr. Corchin claimed he registered August 9th, the day that Senator Lieberman decided not to register himself, and the day that the organizing committee decided not to register. So we had an election. In his mind, he's the chair, and he said he will hold his first party meeting August 9th at his house. That is in Cheshire, 2007. He wants to have a meeting every year to keep it open in case Joe ever wants to use it. But I don't think so. All right. Here are some.
But you sent him a cease and desist order?
No. He sent me a stop calling yourself. I'm not going to do that.
Just change the
Ted
name.
Bromley and the
Cross
other
the
people.
name out, put his name, and then cross his name where he said.
And send the email back.
Will this be a civil war?
No. The Secretary of State said, at least from some of the reporting I've seen, that I crossed and dotted the I's and everything looked good. But they're not in a position. They don't rule who is the chair. They say they've received documents. So after he read the story in the New York Times about my documents, he sent his up. And so he has a letter saying they've received documents from him. So if there's probably the Elections Enforcement Commission may have to make a rule. I don't know if they will. I know Secretary of State Beitsowitz will not make a ruling. Her office just is a repository of documents. And if it keeps going on and there's other people who want to get in the party and don't like the direction that our party is going as a party of accountability, as a party of the issues about the war in Iraq, if they don't like our direction, they try to take it over. And if there's a fight, it would have to be decided in court. So does anybody have any numbers of the Connecticut Civil Liberties Union?